So I need to get to work. So I'm going to try to make this as brief and concise as possible. I'm just going to do a commentary response here to this very strange back and forth that Lara FM had with Audit over the controversial interview she had with Aaron to promote this Father Day protest. Whether that's a good idea or bad idea. And Lara's like, that wasn't a good idea. And well, we're going to get into the commentary. I guess I'll get the details. I just want to give a little bit of flavor of the back and forth, which was pretty heated and pretty emotive.
Put on a show where they feel beautiful and able to express their emotions. Anyway, so I'm going on a roll now, but there's so much feelings involved, and even at the end when I told you about, like, look, I just wanted to say that I'm not okay with Aaron. First thing I said, I hate him right now. That was the first thing I said. Yeah, I hate Aaron right now.
Okay, so that was a little bit of the conversation between Lara FM and Audit. Ganja was also there, though she didn't speak much because it became like a two-way conversation. Does she call herself Ganja or is it Ganja? Anyway, GG. Righty then. So there's been this major back and forth because Lara sort of had a similar response to DOA was speaking with Alonzo, and that was like 6 hours plus. But he was very upset and left early. And I've been accused of clickbait, so I don't want to exaggerate, but it seems like Lara is saying she will probably not be a part of the Father Day protest, and she wants to explain why. So I want to be as accurate as possible. I listened to a big chunk of this conversation. It was a little repetitive, but her points were fairly simple. That she felt Audit LA made a mistake by speaking with Aaron, and there was a lot going on here. So let me just try to go through it carefully. So first of all, the thumbnail that Aaron uses is not really related to the protest. It is a thumbnail featuring Lara FM, and as she said clearly, she doesn't like Aaron at the moment. So Aaron using her on his channel to advertise the video to make money seemed very suspicious and problematic. Now, I did not see the entirety of the interview with Aaron, so I'm going to catch up with that and be fair to him. So what was so disturbing or alarming? Well, apparently somewhere in the conversation, and again, Aaron has done this several times, so it's very credible he would do it again. Apparently he made some ditty joke about the baby oil, right? And maybe, I guess, Audit LA didn't catch that. She says she really wasn't paying attention to the chat or what was going on with Aaron's audience. She was just focused on promoting the event. I think good faith, that's what she was there for. But, and well, we'll save this a little later. I think she's not telling the whole truth, which is fine. Listen, Aaron is a big celebrity. He has a big YouTube channel. Some people can be taken away by that. So, because again, that's part of the conversation that kept going back and forth is why Audit even did the interview, and she just kept going on and on. Well, he asked me to, and that was enough for her to do the interview. But Lara felt that basically Aaron was being very disrespectful, manipulating people, gaslighting. It was just very laughable for him to even try to promote the Father's Day protest, right? The protest is focused on Father's Day. The theme, I guess, is because many families have been broken up via Scientology through disconnection or other means. And so this is a way to, like, well, reconnecting families, so on and so forth. Okay, and Aaron himself, to put it mildly, has a very erratic record as a father. So it just doesn't make sense with the message of the protest. So Lara is saying, again, this is for now. She could change her mind that she will probably support the protest in principle, promote it, but she will not actually show up or be there. In fact, I think she went more categorical. She's done with protesting, period. But I don't want to state that for a fact. Maybe she's really frustrated. And there we are. So, well, okay, this is difficult. So, Audit does have a good reputation, which I'm not disputing. She's a very good researcher. On her channel proper, she does do a lot of good work. But as always, I got to be the bad guy and remind people she does have an alarming background here. And I can't help but say that she's just lying. So she has very good alliances. I'm not saying that they're good. I'm just saying she has a lot of credibility with Streets LA, with DOA, with Aaron. Although she did get some criticism from DOA and Lara. So she's very well respected by these various parties. Now the problem becomes, and this is the price you pay, right? Which again, I'm not actually criticizing her for that. So whatever her intention was to get on Aaron's channel, it is what it is, and she restates her position saying, yeah, with Aaron and all his issues, I don't know about them. I don't want to know about them. I don't really care. I'm not focused on that. Okay, fine. You can ignore that. That is your stance. But it is what it is. You're selling out your principles. There's no nice way to put it. Because what Aaron has done, is doing, is horrifying in terms of dead agenting, fair gaming, attacking, insulting, slandering, breaking the law, just a lot of ugly stuff. Basically just being a horrific bully. And does this say, yeah, I don't really want to focus on that? That's not sufficient. But again, okay, fine, that's there. We're over that. But I'm not criticizing her for being on the channel, right? You can say, okay, fine, whatever, make a deal with the devil, communicate the message. He has a large channel. Hopefully, a lot of people now know there's this protest. But we also have to be blunt and honest. Are those people actually going to go to the protest? Do they even care? What was the point? Oh, we'll wait and see when the protest happens, how many people came, whether promoting it on the Aaron channel mattered, was it worth the cost, so on and so forth. We're going to know soon, and we'll have to wait until then. However, I will, and believe me, I am very critical of Lara. I don't believe Lara on everything. I don't consider her this goddess. Laura has a very shifty record, ironically, because she's so tied to DOA. But even by herself, she's very troublesome. She used to be, and she admits this. I'm not destroying her or giving private information. She was notorious for being friendly with Danny Masterson. She hung out with Danny Masterson a lot. A lot. They went to clubs together, they went to parties together. Lara was in some house Danny had in a jacuzzi with some guy, and Danny apparently was with some girl, not his wife, doing things. And she admits readily, yeah, a lot of drugs were present and all over the place. Remember, in Scientology, drugs are not good. Drugs are not good. But there you go. So she doesn't have a lot of credibility with me. But for Audit LA, she's a hero. So this part, I am being critical of that. She just kept denying over and over again, Lara, if you said no, I would never do this. Like, I thought, Aaron, he has good intentions. So I made a choice to give him another chance and give him grace and yada, yada, yada. It's like, really? You're this very good researcher in LA. You're looking up all these documents, right? Tracking all these things with Scientology. And there she's very good, not disputing that. You don't have access or you can't do some simple research to know why Aaron is so suspicious to so many people, including many activists. You don't know that? You're really going to pull the innocent babe in the woods act? I mean, come on, that's just not credible. And listen, I get it. It seems to me she's very starstruck. And she just wants to maintain good relations with these various people and doesn't want to rock the boat, as they say. And, it is what it is. And listen, I am really not criticizing her at a deep level because it's just plain to me if you're going to make any headway in this space, you have to sell out. There's no way, no two ways about it. It seems the only way you can gain a substantial following is working with certain gatekeepers. That is what it is. I've tried to stay away from that, but being honest, if you want to have a lot of followers, you do have to have a certain amount of credibility with certain gatekeepers, or you're just going to be stuck. That is how it is. Whichever side you fall on, that is just there. But again, that's just YouTube politics. That's just there. I am being critical, though, of her just pretending like, Aaron, I don't know. What's going on with Aaron? I really don't know. Really? 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 And I get it. Her hand was caught in the cookie jar. So now she feels flustered because Lara and her did have a conversation before. And as Lara says, I told you I hated him. I don't like him. I don't trust him. And now she's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm still going to go on the thing. So now she has to explain herself and say, Lara, you didn't say no, though. You just said you hated him. Eyes blinking. And, well, there's a lot more to criticize. But I would just say, listen, I do think, for what it's worth, I do think she's trying to do real anti-Scientology. Right? However, we just have this dilemma that this, again, not really anti-Scientology, but with Street LA and Aaron are pushing out there is this very pseudo anti-Scientology, and that is dominant. That's just there. That is very dominant. That's not her fault. It is not. But to pretend you don't know is like, how could you not know? It's talked about constantly. And if you're actively trying to ignore it or avoid it, yeah, we're just going in a big circle. We're back in Scientology. I'm not going to find out on the internet and Google talk about Aaron. I'm going to stay away from all that. Okay, so we're just rehearsing Scientology. And the reason, oh, the children, I need to focus on my children. I'm going to call Aaron. It's like, I just don't understand. I really don't understand these people. The nicest thing I can say is that some of these people, and again, she's, again, one of the better people, are acting like hamsters. They're just hamsters on a wheel. They just don't want to know certain things. Okay, that's your life. But it just feels weird to me that you're tracking down all these documents. You're very ruthless. You insist every other Scientologist is a criminal, put them in jail, yada, yada, yada. But if you want to have legitimate skepticism about whoever, Lara FM or Aaron or whatever, streets, it's like, oh, the cult, oh, good faith, oh, they're the victims and the children. None of this makes any sense. So this is not a hate video about Audit LA, but it is critical of a certain genre here where we're just pretending. And first, we're just lying. Streets LA, let me make this very Streets LA was never in Scientology. He was not in a cult. And she just kept going back to, I mean, I keep thinking they escaped the cult, and I'm going to give them more time. Streets LA was never in a cult. So why aren't you critical of him? You can't have that excuse. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I think she's trying to do good work. But again, it is what it is. You're selling out. Whatever. I do think this protest is being done in good faith, but I can't participate in it. I don't even know about promoting it because I'd have to tell people, forewarn people, it's not a safe space. This is a space of predators, grifters, liars, and criminals. That's what it is. And I guess you want to say, well, a lot of people showed up to that protest and they held candles or whatever. Like, okay, well, there you go. I'm not going to go first because I can't afford it. Second of all, I just don't feel safe around these people. I would advise anyone, you need to be very careful around these people. But if you want to go to this Father's Day protest, that go ahead. I'm just giving you fair warning. That's the environment. I'm not saying I'm better than Audit LA, but I think you want to forewarn people about that. I think that's just being honest. But that is me. This is clearly a very contentious conversation, and we're going to be talking about it another back and forth with that sector. I don't want to call it anti-Scientology, but just this very contentious protester space and how it keeps evolving and redefining itself.